I've worked on hundreds of these cases. We deal with them for the police across the whole of the southeast. We're the official dive team for the police across the southeast. The amount of searching that's gone on in this river, I would have thought she would have been found by now. Look, normally when a person drowns, if they are left a number of days, we've dealt with, say, many of these incidents, and they don't move very far. This is not a fast tidal river, so I would have expected her to be found by the police divers by now. Apparently sonar's been used, but that's only as good as the equipment or the operator using them. We could have scanned this river with our equipment within a day and seen if there was a body there. It's as clear as that. And none of this rings right to me. My belief is she's not in the river at all.
Peter, an awful lot of people are coming up with their own thoughts as to what has actually happened here. You're a forensic expert. Taking all the clues that you are aware of, what are the conclusions that you would draw from what has possibly happened here?
I personally think this phone could be a decoy. I mean, we dealt with a drowning a couple of years ago where a gentleman went into a river in Ripley. His dog was screaming by the riverbank when we got there, when we arrived, and it was howling and literally pointing exactly where he was. He stayed with his owner. And the phone on the bench, I mean, normally someone would have a phone in their hand, and if they, walking around, if she was making a call. Look, Nicola knew this area, and even the clothing, no one spoke how deep the water is actually at the bottom of the bank where it went in. I've heard rumours it's 18 inches deep at the edge. I mean, and the clothing she was wearing was not woolly clothing that absorbs water quickly. She seems a very fit person. Why were there no screams? Why were there no marks? And what I am surprised about is that the area hasn't been sealed off as a crime scene or for forensics. People have been walking past the bench. There's no police tape up. This would normally be sealed off as a crime scene. So potentially CSI, crime scene investigators, can go in and see if there's any microfibers, evidence, slip marks down the bank. And I don't believe that has actually happened here.
What about, sorry, I was just going to say, because loads of people emailed in yesterday about Fitbits. We know she was wearing a blue banded Fitbit, and people are saying, well, can't that be used? Now, admittedly, older Fitbits don't have the GPS tracking and things, they just log steps. But there is at least a possibility, isn't there, that could reveal some information?
Probably, Stephen, it's not my field, so I won't comment on that. But there's a lot of information stored on digital things. But at the end of the day, Nicola was last seen in the top field by the witness. There's nothing to say she couldn't have been kidnapped and dragged and put in a car and taken away, and someone could have put a mobile phone by the river as a decoy, or Nicola wanted to disappear herself. It just doesn't ring right. The amount of searches that's gone on in this river, the body, if there was a body in there, is no way going to go all the way down to the sea, not with us. That current. I mean, we fish people out all the time of rivers, and they just don't move that far unless the river's in flood. And this river is clearly not in flood. It's not moving fast enough, and it will drift very slightly if a body did. And normally, at this time of year, a body will normally resurface between 6 and 8 days as the body decomposes, it bloats, and the body comes to the surface. It's normally found by dog walkers if they're not found. And that's what I'm surprised about. And it's just they're doing a great job of searching, and that's the police divers. But I'm just wondering why. I mean, we've offered our equipment up there and our expertise, if required, to the family. And if they want it, we could search this river in a day and say Nicola's there or she's not. It's as simple as that.
So you think that the police have been clearly quite hasty in coming out with this conclusion?
Yeah, definitely. I've never heard of this. It's a very odd one. I mean, normally the police say we're keeping an open mind, Angela, on this type of case. I think it's a bit foolish coming out that she's gone in the river. Let's look at all the angles here. They'll be looking at cell site analysis of mobile phones. That can take a few days to do. But my big worry is the way it wasn't initially sealed off as a sort of a crime scene, so they could potentially gather more information on this.
Peter, have they actually asked you to come and help them? And, I mean, you clearly would be prepared to do so if they did.
We would do it absolutely free of charge. I mean, we've got millions of pounds worth of equipment. I work with the police every day. We're called in from Kent, Essex, Surrey, Sussex, Thames Valley and Hampshire. We've got the highest hit rate for finding bodies in the country. We would happily go up tomorrow morning and help them search if they come. I'm not going to turn up. I don't do that. That's unprofessional. If we are contacted by the police, we would do it free of charge for them and help this family find Nicola. At least our equipment, which is the best in the world, could actually scan that river and I could say categorically she is not in that river very, very quickly.
Well, look, I mean, let's hope someone takes you up on that. What about if the family asks you to do it privately?
We would, as long as the police gave us permission to attend, because I wouldn't want to. I work with the police every day. They're working extremely hard. It's very, very easily criticising the police. I'm not criticising the police. Some media reports of that. I'm certainly not. But we're offering our equipment to assist with this operation to speed up the search. And I say I've got I hold the police in the highest regard. But it needs wrapping up, this one, Stephen.
Could they be? I mean, it's all this speculation, which is very difficult. But the fact that they've come out with a working hypothesis, which, I mean, as you say, and as we know, is very, very strange, the way they've done this. Is there, I mean, are they keeping their powder dry, perhaps, on other things they're looking into?
They will be looking into many other things. They'll be looking at other people within the family. They'll be looking at people who live locally, whether there's any sex attackers who live locally and things like this. I mean, we don't know. Nicola can be kidnapped and being held somewhere against her will. She might hopefully she'll still be alive. She may have just wandered off. But it's unusual because they've actually come out and said, we believe she's in the river, and then Nicola gets found somewhere else. The media would have a field day with them. So I think it's a bit just with a mobile phone by a river, that's not good enough evidence for me. This needs a lot. We need to clear that river, and then that can be ruled out completely, and then the focus can go elsewhere. If she's in the river, I'd be very surprised if she's not. Clearly, if the equipment used, if she's found in that river, has not been effective.